Hi everyone, I'm Airier, and today we're going to check out Bricky's look at Battlefront 2's remake, which is not horrible, and the title listed Star Wars Battlefield Classic Editions is so bad I got Philisophical, because that would be really horrible. I'd be cute to imagine a company making a remake of a game from over 20 years ago that required literally no work, and all they had to do was just make it available on a new system. They couldn't make it worse. Let me have this release for a few more seconds. I know what we're getting into here. I'm not looking forward to this, but I kind of want to see what he has to say because I'm going with masochism on this one. Yeah, you guys know the deal. There's a link below to Bricky's video. Hit it up. It's going to be good, but also, as someone who played the shit out of that game and preferred it to the EA remakes that came later, this is going to hurt.
Let's talk about that game.
I know. I know it's coming.
I want to make this extremely clear.
Watch those wrist rockets.
Do you understand what I'm saying here? Watch those wrist rockets, or I'm gonna be watching you.
They said that all the time in the game, didn't they?
Pretty sight when I find out you are some kind of clanker sympathizer.
Personally, I was always more of the...
What? Well, that was a kind of strange.
That was a mod for GTA 5, wasn't it? I thought, oh wow, did they put something new? No, wait. I realized what I was saying. I let myself get hopeful, even for something I knew wasn't possible.
Announcement, wasn't it? Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2, the originals, being staples of my childhood, much like the real staples, and they, like that store, faded into irrelevance with time. Battlefront was at the height of my Star Wars fandom.
It was so
cool. Young, loved the prequels because I was young.
Yeah.
And mostly adored the video games that came from them. Jedi Starfighter, Republic Commando, Jedi Knight, Bounty Hunter, Pod Racer, Rogue Squadron. I played that shit at the YMCA with those controllers that had the giant...
Dude, I remember those setups. They had them everywhere. Oh. I'll be honest, if someone put that out now, one, that would actually still be amazing, and two, no, there's no two. It just would still be amazing now if they still did this, because god damn it, man, that would be freaking cool. It would definitely get stolen, but it would be so worth it.
Giant, stiff, bendable rubber casing they used to lock it down at a GameStop and other places.
You saw it everywhere, and it was always the best part.
My entire childhood, not just from a cultural thing, but also from the entire video game point of view as well. And I look back at those flawed movies and games with a lot of love, especially considering the best thing modern Star Wars has put out is a television series about the random side character who dies in Rogue One. That being said, Andor is really good.
I've heard that from a lot of people, actually.
But Battlefront 1 and 2
I need to watch it, but I'm just so far behind.
Bring us a huge volume of diverse locations, battlefields, and my personal favorite, the space battles.
Yeah.
Where you had to destroy
when you could just transfer between them too. I think that was in the second game.
Or board them from the inside. Clone Trooper Bomber, my beloved. So I'm genuinely surprised.
Just give me a second. Just like all the nostalgia he's bringing up and all the things I loved about the game and how they did some things that even modern video games just don't touch on, and I know what's about to happen next. I think it was the PSP version that actually let you transfer from a space battle to a land battle. Smaller battles, but you could do it, and it's talking about so many things that were so cool, and it's old as janky as they look. I realize we're looking at the new stuff, but it looks just like the old one. I don't think they updated anything. They just put like de novo on it so that they could monetize it better. I just want a second to enjoy it for what it was. Okay, that second's over. Let's go to pain.
That to such little fanfare, the remaster collection of the first two games, including brand new maps and heroes, is coming to Steam and console for roughly $40. This is being made by company Aspyr, who appear to have done various other collections such as the Tomb Raider remasters and updated titles for the modern day. It seems that their main
Duke
job
Nukem
is
Forever,
to bring
really.
up old titles to
Suddenly
modern
makes sense.
machines and standards, as well as do development work here and there on mainline titles. So I'm stoked. And I don't think nostalgia entirely clouds my vision here. I remember the game playing pretty well, having somewhat annoying voice lines.
Command post under attack.
Command post under enemy control. A command post.
I'm sorry, I just had a visceral reaction. That'd be. It's not even just that they're annoying, but I just remember hearing this background white noise that I ignored, which is probably why I lost a lot of command post. I never care though, because there's always more about, ooh, I got a headshot. Oh, we lost. I don't care. I got a headshot. I'm not a very good player. I just enjoy it. Oh, man.
Post is under Confederacy control.
Hostiles have gained a command post.
Yeah.
Wrist rockets.
But having great variety and class choice on both sides.
You could. Oh, that was number 2, because I think in number 1 they
This
even wouldn't
part
let you.
of the script is being written and filmed before the game has been released. I have a busy March, you know? I'm going to PAX East in Boston. I'm just trying to get ahead of my work. So I'm past Bricky, but I'm gonna hand this off to future Bricky and we'll see what he thinks of the re-release.
Just do the damage. Just putting it off right now. That's all it is. What is this? Nevada? Nah,
Oh my
too much life.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Jesus Christ. Buddha, please. May Allah save my soul.
No.
What the fuck is this? Where's the justice in the world? Where sinners run free? Turns out Turns out I love talking about games with overwhelmingly in their reviews, red or blue. If you haven't heard by now, Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection is basically the worst product that has come out in 2024. This might—
Oh, don't worry. It's the worst product to come out yet. I'm sure someone, I'm not going to say names, but probably BioWare, will do something worse. And we'll hate it. Although it could be Blizzard. It's really, really up there. Wow. It somehow ranks worse than all these things.
even include the terrible asset flips that are dumped on Steam simply because of the emotional damage this product has caused me. When I heard that the Battlefront games were coming back,
The cringe
I
is
assumed
so
it would be
cringe, it's actually
version
hurting my
of
face
the
right
usual
now.
Remaster, because with games this old, that would make sense. Bring those bitches up to 60 frames a second minimum, allow it to be 1080p resolution, also minimum, and allow it to have more streamlined options menus, and like that's it. The minimum that can be done. But while I want to ask,
When you could just
where
ask
from
a
the
mod for
depths of
permission, do
hell
that.
This product came from, hell is only a word. Reality is much, much worse.
Do I create, does creating create like a private game, or does create like
Is it one of those
a
always
game
online
game?
things? I think it
because
is,
it's
yeah.
just like I'm creating a private game. Oh god. Okay.
Can you still
I
do
guess,
it, though?
I guess maybe I thought they would kind of.
Oh, yeah, they
I
only had,
didn't
like, a
think that we
handful
would
of
actually-
servers because
this
they
would
expected,
this
like,
would
a
be
dozen people
like
to play.
It was 15 years ago. I thought there'd be a little bit more clearing it up a bit, you know? Okay.
No.
Is there an add all? There is not. I have to add each individual map one by one. I had
Lovely.
the wrong idea. I thought that I was playing not really a remaster, but like something.
It's a
modern.
downgrade.
I'm playing a port. This is a port.
Is it even that?
chat. Oh, chat. Bricky, what did you expect? Guys, what do you mean, what did I expect? This isn't normal.
It's the same game. It's literally the same two games, including the same
No, it's actually
menus,
worse.
The same game.
He's still maxed
creation,
out the rank,
same
though.
Graphics
Against
the same
AI, but-
fucking frame rate. Oh. But thank God they added the console exclusive heroes to the game. Thank God we have I Can Make Her Worse added to our collection. I have this level of rage built up
I actually don't
inside
get that
me
reference.
that wants to be released, but I can't
it's Ventress, but I
find
don't
a
get-
good outlet for it because it's saying the same thing over and over again, which is it's the same game. But luck
See, we're in this point right now, and he's still just thinking, it's the same game. I've seen enough reviews to realize if it was the same game, it would be better. I wonder how long before he gets in and he says, oh no, never mind, I was being too generous. Also, I know the guy's dead, but I thought they cut him in here instead of switched his head all the way off.
Luckily, Oh, luckily for me
this is
and
gonna be worse.
you, dear viewer, there are even more ridiculous things that somehow, over the course of 2 decades, they managed to make worse. For example, while the original games
Called
have
it being
extensive
worse.
mod support, including custom servers, patches, and more,
Because they made it
the new
impossible to use that,
collection
right?
does not properly account for any of those and therefore are completely worthless. Secondly, do you know how large Star Wars Battlefront 1 is as
Tiny.
a game? 3 gigabytes. 3.
Damn.
Trace.
Didn't realize it was that small.
Son, do you know how large Star Wars Battlefront 2 is as a game? 4.3 gigabytes. Would you like to know how big Star Wars Battlefront Classic Edition is? It's 50 gigabytes.
If they had gone full-on texture packs, I could understand that. But let's be honest, we know exactly what this is. It's malware. It is literally just malware. I'm sure if someone breaks into the files and looks at what's in there, it's going to be malware. If this is not a flat-out steal your identity type thing, it's like, you have tax information on your computer. Mine. Haha, you might open maybe $1 million mortgage? Great, I'll take that from you. Oh, that's amazing. I'm assuming the basic premise is anyone who actually gets nostalgia for this is old enough to have the ability to get a mortgage. So we'll just try everyone. It's going to pay off. I swear, it's just a matter of time until CoffeeZilla touches this thing because it's probably a scam. On top of being
50
horrible.
gigabytes listed on Steam. When fully installed, it was 63 fucking gigabytes. 63 gigs for games pushing 19 and 20 years old. This product
This is just how to
is
shitify
8.6
something.
times the size of itself. It's even larger than Battlefront 2. The new one. It's larger than Elden fucking Ring.
Damn.
Miyazaki could fit at least 2 more swamps before this hits 63 gigabytes.
Bricky, don't say that. He will take you up on that. He will use this. He will find this clip, put out an interview, say, well, the American VTuber said I could fit more swamps. So I'm going to listen to the one person who no one wanted me to put more swamps in. In fact, the next game is nothing but swamps. Welcome to the Elden Ring DLC. Spoilers, it's all swamp. I can't stand Elden Ring swamps. I can't stand any Dark Souls variant swamps. I hate them so much. Mostly because the aesthetic and the overall environment is just depressing and not very interesting to me, but also because everything else.
And thirdly, this is an immense pet peeve of mine. Despite not adding basically a single new change, so the
Were there
options
microtransactions
that's
too?
actually worth a damn, they did add a streamer mode. So they added one. Lovely. There's a streamer
Why?
mode. For the uninitiated, streamer mode normally does things like hide your name, IP address. Well, you normally hide your IP address, but you know, sensitive information in a game. But most particularly, it hides your name in the video game so you're not hit by stream snipers. It's a combination to keep you safe and the people watching your stream and people trying to kill you in game. Pretty simple stuff. It
Is that the best part, though?
normally does something else, which is remove all copyright music from the game so you don't get struck down by the hand of God or worse, Disney. So if you're wondering why all of the
Yeah, if it's God, you deserve it. If it's Disney, they decide to feel a little bored and peckish because they wanted to eat someone's soul today and you're just on the block. If you think I have a bad opinion of Disney's lawyers, I mean, these are the guys who, and this is something you can look up. When a preschool teacher painted a mural for her students, it involved a Disney character. She had to remove it as part of an actual court settlement because Disney decided, fuck them kids. And then they did that. They were also later found to be in a breach of their own copyright because they over-enforced it beyond what is expected of zealous representation of your own copyright. But that doesn't matter because they still did it, and they will still do it. Yeah. That's all stuff you can look up. It's not even hidden. They brag about it in actual stock shareholder reports.
the Battlefront gameplay here is quieter than a church mouse, it's because they couldn't even do that right. And the game, like in the original, plays all the main themes you remember, such as confrontation with Count Dooku, Imperial March, The Last Battle, The Wampa's Lair, Carbon Freeze, and Battle of Heroes.
Oh yeah, Disney would block all of those. You can't use that shit.
I know the names of these tracks
because you gotta call them all.
YouTube flagged all of them individually in my stream video on my second channel, which I co-stream at the same time as my Twitch. Check it out. We play lots of fun games that aren't this dumpster fire and
oh yeah, I need to play Helldivers. Is what I would say if I had friends. That doesn't make it salty at all. I'm just moving on.
Games that know how to remove copyrighted songs in the streamer mode of the game. Sam Lake, that hack, at least had a goddamn setting for it in Control, and you didn't do it in your re-release of two 20-year-old games. I'm going to piss my pants. I'm gonna shit. My jorts will never be the same. And the icing on the cake, the final bit of this whole disgusting pile, is that the game is $35. $35 for 2 games stapled together at 8.6 times the file size, no upgrades of any kind, and for 2 games you can still buy on Steam for substantially cheaper and with real mod support.
Wait, the first 2 games are still available on Steam? This actually makes it even worse, because I thought it was a matter of, well, it's Disney, so they probably made sure it was never allowed on Steam and no one can use it. I thought the mods were just people who were really adventurous and were able to make a port from the PS2 era. But if this is still on Steam, there is literally no reason not to buy the old one and just mod it so it looks better. Hell, you could probably mod in streamer mode. I mean, admittedly, it probably already exists. I'm not even going to be surprised because mods are everywhere. But if it's still on Steam, if those games have not been retroactively removed because anything fully digital is a rental and not actually ownership at this point, then there's literally no point for this thing. It's more data for less and probably going to come out that it is stealing your information to later impersonate you and take out loans, because that's exactly what this would do. It's just malware. I'm saying a lot of words here. But also, I fully expect this to come out. I said it before, and I'll say it again. It's only a matter of time till CoffeeZilla does an expose about this thing.
You are paying $35 for an inferior product and the privilege to only click 1 game on Steam instead of 2.
My God.
Actually, how much are the 2 games on Steam? So, hold on.
Is it actually cheaper?
Star Wars Battlefront.
Oh yeah, you can do that on the phone. I forgot.
Classic 2004. $9.99. About Battlefront 2. $9.99. It's $20 for both games that are still on Steam right now, that are superior
with all the mod support
to the 2 games that have been stapled onto each other, and they charge an extra $15. They didn't even fix the bugs.
I think I was getting bullet drop, which I can't really blame them for because that was just how it was.
I mean, everyone knows bullets are pulled down.
What?
That's how bullets work. When they're made of energy and they just hit scan.
This sent me into a spiral. Like it's a mentally damaging spiral. It's not a loop, it's a spiral. Like the whole product is shit, don't get me wrong.
Circles.
But when you look at the Steam page advertising the game, nothing there really says that I was supposed to get what I wanted. Play the Star Wars Battlefront games, online and offline, in this definitive collection. The classic collection includes bonus maps.
Can you play it offline though?
Only like console based at the time. Fight on the ground with all expanded hero roster, Lucasfilm's logo. That's it. That never did they say this was an HD remaster. Never did they say that it was fix the bugs or anything.
So literally the truth in advertising where they don't get sued is that they made absolutely no claims and they just dressed up so you expect there's claims. That's evil and kind of genius, but also evil. I just... Am I the only one who thinks this is... It's not even a money grab because it doesn't seem like they were expecting people to play it.
They technically did not lie.
They were probably right if they did.
And even though
they
I want to call it a scam, I can't legally, because legally the word scam carries weight. So if I actually said it, I could be liable for dick and shit. But God...
If it's your opinion, it's much harder to prove. And honestly... with how things are being put up so that they're selling something that's already available for cheaper, you could claim that it's a scam and make an argument. Granted, if someone wants to sue you, all they need to have is more money than you to make you hurt. And honestly, with this company, I have absolutely no idea if they would do that or not, because it seems like they're already doing the cash grab thing, so it's not entirely possible they would. If it was Disney doing it, if Disney took offense to this being a scam, and they decided to sue, oh yeah, no, they can fuck you up, because they could literally just pay an attorney to bullshit you until, even if you win, you can never recoup the cost of what you pay to someone, because no attorney will take up your case if they think they're not going to actually win, and then make some to kind of recoup their losses for time spent on this, because it's a cost loss of analysis. I get so much money for doing this, so even if I only get money if I win, we have to win enough money to cover the time that I'm not doing something else that would also pay. Versus this, where if anyone really wants to fuck you over, they don't need to win a lawsuit against you. They just need to keep you in a lawsuit long enough that you go bankrupt. Yeah, you don't win. You just drain the other person's resources. That's all it is. It's a lot easier when there's an anti-slap suit, but even then you have to get a lawyer in the first place to do it, and most people can't afford that. The alternative is to go, I think it's called judgment proof, which is you don't got shit for them to take in the first place, but that's just to not be sued. And honestly, they can still fuck you over because there's plenty of other ways to do that. If you get the right kind of small town, middle of nowhere, I'm the only law in this town, as an actual literal description of everyone else working in the town, then yeah, they can come up with some creative judgments, even in civil. Is it legal? Well, it's as legal as no one else is going to bother saying no, because no one else gives a damn. So yeah, let's go with that.
Why does it feel like it's a scam adjacent? We're off script, by the way. I don't have a script for this part. We're gone. We're flying off the seat of our pants right now, okay? Battlefront is the game you would remaster. Battlefront 1 and 2, the new ones, you know, the ones that were released by EA later, they've got their problems.
They look nice, but honestly, I don't think they played as well.
Once you sort out all the weird loot box crap in Battlefront 2,
oh, God, I forgot about
that game hits. Not only is it a hit, it's got the
it looked pretty.
music, the big scale, all kinds of character
I like just being able to
options,
drop in with all the weapons, and all the weapons being at least usable.
And it looks really good, it sounds good, and it has a shockingly high skill ceiling for some really good plays and players. Like, those games are good, and if you're going to remaster something like the old Battlefront games, you'd want to give it a genuine ass facelift. You know, you took two games and then you stapled them together, did basically nothing.
Did they even do that?
Them the old heroes from
Sounds like they more
stuff,
just stapled on things from the first game to the second one.
$15 more for it. That's what happened. They launched with 3 servers and no one could play. Maybe because they were realizing this was going to be a colossal failure, so they didn't rent out any goddamn servers for it. You know,
with all the money they put into it, that's probably more than they thought they could afford.
So it got me going down this whole rabbit hole. What is a remaster? Because when you think about it, you've got remakes and you got remasters. Okay, so when I think of like the biggest remake
Final
of
Fantasy
remakes,
VII?
You think Final
Called
Fantasy
it.
VII. That
It was
is
good.
a remake of a exceptionally old game that is just a totally different video game.
And
it's
frankly,
a different
amazing
combat
port.
style, visual style, often different dialogue. It's just a completely different game, but it's a remake of that kind of original thing. Then you have below that remake, but still very, very faithful. And that I would go with something more along the lines of Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 2
Same
is
thing,
a
but
bit
with
more
better
in the
graphics, yeah.
Rebirth camp, because
Rebirth is its own game altogether, so playing the first game is a significantly different experience, but it's better if you play the second one, well, second, where this one is just a carbon copy that looks way better and also plays well. Granted, I still can't play because these things, even if you can shoot their head off and it's not actually scary, still scare me because I'm a coward.
the game was that stock camera angle Resident Evil style thing back when they changed to third person. Resident Evil 4, obviously, the original was a third person action horror and the new one is too, but it's still pretty
better.
Darn faithful. You have the same characters, you have the same villains, a lot of the voice lines are the same, even if they do take a little bit of, you know, a little bit here and there with it, but the actual gameplay of the game doesn't have as much of a massive departure as a Resident Evil 2 or a Final Fantasy Rebirth does. Then you have your more traditional remaster. We're gonna
Not a
buff
money
this
grab,
game
but
up with
close.
new visuals.
I call it the Skyrim option.
and that's about the farthest we're going to go. To me, I think of this like Halo 2 Anniversary Edition. The Master Chief Collection is its own thing, but Halo 2 Anniversary is a complete remake of Halo 2 with a better graphics, crazy new visuals for all the cutscenes. But
Oh,
the
that was
dialogue
new?
and the
Shit, I didn't realize that was
gameplay
from the
and
game.
all of that is just about the same. It's basically an identical game, but with a huge visual facelift. Then you have your just bump the graphics up. That we're thinking along the lines of The Last of Us remakes, and then also
I thought that was
the
just a re-release.
Mass Effect Remastered Trilogy Edition. The Last of Us remake actually came with a lot of other impressive things like new options menu, accessibility features, some good stuff like that.
Well, that's
but
actually
for the
kinda
most
cool.
part, it was just a visual facelift, and that's all it was. Mass Effect Trilogy basically did the exact same thing. And last but not least, you have what could basically be referred to as a port, or just bringing something up to modern hardware.
Does it count as a port, though, if it was already on modern hardware? Because that's the thing. I thought it was a port. I thought it was just we might upgrade the graphics, but they never claimed that's what's a port. But no, it was already on modern hardware. You didn't need to port something that already existed. It's like, I want to say just re-releasing Skyrim again, but even that is at least playing the game. Although Bethesda still doesn't fix the bugs, but they also know at this point, it's probably easier to import all of the mods if they don't fix the bugs. I'm sure that's not actually how they're thinking about it, because that would be way too much thought put into something that they can just re-release for easy money. But also it works. It's one of those, they're so shit that their shit actually gets better if they have a decent world built. Which is why Starfield, even though there are mysteries in there, you never get to them because everything else is boring until then. And you never get to the interesting shit. It's like, oh wow, this entire faction with this incredibly deep lore and disturbing history has disappeared suddenly for no reason. We can't figure out what's going on. Don't care, because I do not give a damn about anything in that game. Also, I hated the ship, everything about the ships. I just couldn't stand it. Yeah. Maybe in a decade, if mods happen to ever take up on it, it'll be fun. But a lot of modders got bored, so I don't think that'll happen.
I think of this like the Master Chief Collection, you know? Halo 3 and let's say Halo 4, also Halo Reach. All these games got a little bit of a graphical thing. They went from 30 frames to 60 frames or more, which is fantastic.
I guess in a shooter
and
that kind of helps.
They also were able to run at 1080p minimum. But the biggest and most important thing is now you can play it on PC with its own matchmaking style. That alone is worth its weight in gold for a lot
Which
of
is,
people.
I thought,
Being
what
able
would
to
be the
play
point, but apparently
Halo
not.
CE matchmaking in its own right, back when that was only some horrifying LAN
parties,
Ethernet cable abomination.
God.
Back then. That's enough.
I hate that I'm looking at that image and I'm still going, I hate everything about this, but also I want to do it again. I've only done it a few times. It was with like N64s, but it was fun, man. Also because the guy had like an obscenely huge TV they got out of a junkyard, and it didn't work well. There were significant portions of the screen missing, like pixels, or not even pixels because it was a CRT. Like, I think it was an interior projector, so it was like just this monstrosity that some rich person threw out. But they had it, and it worked good enough. It was fine enough. And it was so freaking fun, even though it was literally a mistake.
So we have these
I think it also
various
broke,
types
but I'm
of
not sure.
remakes. The full one for Final Fantasy, the mostly full one but faithful for Resident Evil, the Halo 2 kind of rebuild, and then the more uplift, facelift ports, etc.
It's because you just want to play it
what
again
the
with their
fuck
hardware.
Is this even? This is not a port, because these games are already on PC and
Yep.
already on Steam. This is not a graphical remaster, because it's
I wonder if he will talk about someone just plumbing the files to see what was added.
If there is a visual or frame rate increase, I did not see it. It doesn't add better options. You get your streamer mode, but that's worth dick. And that's it. That's it. I don't really ask for more rules in today's day and age, but I gotta feel like there should be some punishment for this. You're not gonna
buying
get
it.
anywhere with like a legal system, like, oh, this is against the law because of what we're going.
While there are rules to do that, you have to have standing to do it. And frankly, if everyone returned their games already, then that would be very hard to find. Also, you're not going to get shit out of this company. I'm assuming they're already bankrupt.
with that. But Valve, god damn, I feel like there's got to be some kind of precedent set here, and I think that's
probably
one of
not.
the reasons why in that whole
Unless they actually do find out my
lie
speculation about being a scam because there's malware on it real, they probably won't do shit.
More than what it was.
Because they don't need to.
But
If
the
it is
fact that
actually
what it
malware, they will
was
need to remove it,
so
though.
Dog shit still makes me feel like I was scammed adjacent. For legal reasons, this is a joke, asshole. So there's a bit of a lesson to be learned from this, I think. One, double check that your remake, remaster, whatever the hell this thing is actually what you say it is. Two, maybe we should talk to someone about this. Maybe someone should get in trouble for this.
They
I
won't.
would like someone to get in trouble for this, for making this decision. Remember that Unity guy? That guy who was like, we're gonna charge you for using Unity even after you paid your dues or what?
I'm sure he was fired, and then he immediately got an even higher paying job. Because that's how this works. I've made a point not to look up what happened to him because I don't think I'll enjoy whatever I see. Because as much as I'm joking, he then got fired and was hired for a better job with more money and more things he could destroy. Is kind of how these golden parachutes work. You get out and everyone else has to deal with the shit you did while you can get paid for someone else because your resume looks good and the people hiring you don't actually know what they're hiring you for. Because a lot of companies that make these decisions at the upper management level understand you are selling a product and they're selling you boxes. They don't know what's in the box, but they can sell the box really well. Up until not knowing what's in the box becomes a problem because they hire based on incomplete information. It's why you don't let marketing run a company, because it always goes bad. I'm looking at you, Douglas Martin. You fucking destroyed Boeing. And then also literally destroyed the planes we're making. But this is getting into a much bigger rant because just corporate shenanigans. Who'd have thought? He brought up Unity. It's a tangent, but it's one that is unfortunately accurate. I can follow my entire train of logic here, or other people's lack thereof.
Whatever. That guy worked for EA apparently and wanted to charge
Who
you
would be
for,
surprised?
Like, your gun in Battlefield, and they fired him for being too greedy. I feel like somebody here needs the same treatment.
And
just,
he got hired by
goddamn,
Unity.
There are so many remakes and remasters.
Probably been
that
hired
are
by
out
someone
right
else.
now,
I
and
wonder if
a
he's
lot
the new
of them
CEO of BioWare at this
are
point.
worth the salt. There's definitely this issue,
CEO
and this
adjacent.
happens a lot in
Advisor,
Hollywood
maybe?
too, where so many different movies are just being like, this is the old IP we had. Let's pull it back. Let's pull it in. Let's use that old thing we had. And you're getting tired of the bringing it back to the old days, the Michael Myers redone Halloween movies. But sometimes when you do that shit right, when you genuinely give it the attention it deserves, it can.
A lot of the reason you see remakes, though, isn't because it's a lack of ideas. It's that it's an easy cash grab. People, even if something is shit, will go see nostalgia. Way easier. If they're not sure about a movie, they might see it, they might not. So unless it's an absolute utter banger, like best movie ever, there's not really going to be a huge draw to it. But if you make something that was an utter banger, that they have nostalgia for, they will go in droves, predictably. So if you put something out that cost absolutely nothing, and then people go in droves, I mean, yeah, sure, it's shit, but your profit margin is nice. In fact, it's so nice, you might try it again. Does this ever work in the long term? No! But your profit margin says, I don't fucking care because I am loaded. I hate that it works because it does. It is actually a very good business strategy. It's just shit everything else.
Pretty good. I mean, Final Fantasy VII right now is hotcakes. Resident Evil 4 was nominated for a ton of Game of the Year awards last year, which I am maybe a little unsure about with the concept of like, is a remake worth getting that? But it was so damn good. That
There's actually a lot of people who probably this was their first
swear to
experience,
God,
though,
I've
at least for
gotten to the
those,
point,
and they were
the
good.
Star Wars Battlefront
This-
Classic Collection is so bad, I've gotten philosophical. What is a remake, truly? Huh? What is truly a remaster?
I have no idea what that is a joke
Star Wars
about.
Battlefront, the original,
Not on YouTube,
they're
at least.
great games. Genuinely, they're incredibly good games. When I was playing,
And you can still buy them, apparently, for cheaper.
I was actually having fun, not because the collection was any good, but because it's
The real
Battlefront,
Star
and
Wars
Battlefront's
game.
Great. It's classic, arcadey, fun Star Wars gameplay, and the fact that Battlefront 2 is no longer getting any kind of update and it's just kind of there to slowly die whatever death it's going to reach in a couple of years is pretty sad. And the fact that these games,
If someone
can't
could make a
even get
private server for it, though,
genuinely
it'd still be
real
fine.
Remaster is heartbreaking. For all the
Oh, I forgot about that. Wherever you shot someone, they didn't actually have hit animations. They just literally shifted to a new pose all of a sudden. So they just kind of glitched around. I actually forgot about that, but now he's pointing it out, just like little segment. I remember that. What I said about nostalgia, that right there, it's making me want to play. Not this, but the original ones that are still on Steam. I might not even play them. I might just buy them because they were actually good.
Issues they had on launch, Halo the Master Chief Collection is an incredible piece of video game preservation from a company that normally doesn't care about that kind of stuff. It is a shitload of Halo games that run on modern hardware, that have good UI systems, that are not too expensive, and have active working matchmaking.
And still have more players than Infinity, from what I heard.
A lot of games need to hold themselves to, especially considering how many of them are arriving and just dying immediately afterwards. The Battlefront games,
like the Suicide Squad game,
by a dedicated fan base and a modding community, and that's about it. These games deserve a real Master Chief Collection style thing, and I'm very worried that we're never going to get it. So,
nope.
Sucks for us, I guess, the consumer, again, for the however manyth time. That's all I got for you today. Just a philosophical rant from Bricky, because the inner nostalgia and excitement I had for this was crushed. Thanks for watching. Next video will be better, I promise. Next video will get...
Yeah, he says that, but I'm fully expecting it won't. I'm fully expecting the next video will be something even more Has he done the Suicide Squad game next? Oh god, if he does the Suicide Squad game next... I know just enough about that game to realize it gets worse.
We'll get more into the fun stuff. I'll see you later. God damn! Come on!
Well, that was an entire pile of masochistic pain that I didn't need to subject myself to, but I did anyways because I don't make smart decisions. I just enjoy the pain and suffering of people who are making me the one in suffering and enjoying the pain. Yeah, I don't know why I did this either. I knew what this was like going in. And I thought it would just be, here's what's wrong with it. Maybe we got a little look at the back end, because I fully expect we're going to find out malware is probably part of the game code, because you can only bloat something so much with literally no changes, unless they're just trying to offer some DMCA protections in there to maybe just add a streamer option and then steal the money revenue from streams, because at this point, it seemed to work on Bricky. The problem is no one's going to play the game long enough for that to matter. I don't know, but I'm fully expecting this is so egregious that something is up with it, because it's either that or they managed to bloat it with random files that had no effect. If there was other changes, or like they had a really bad graphical patch, maybe. But even just the frame insertion would literally just be, hey, NVIDIA, remember how you can generate extra frames? Just turning RTX on this thing would probably do enough. And it wouldn't take that much framework. It would take way more on your CPU and your GPU and all the things hooked up with that, so a better computer. But you could do that. But it wouldn't take that. The reason this hurts so much, not just because of the other reasons we already gone over, is that Bricky highlighted just how great the originals were. And this would be the most depressing video I've seen all day. I'm sticking by what I said because there's been a few others, but we're not going to touch on that. Except there is one high side. The originals are still available on Steam. I could go right now, pick them up for cheaper, and get full mod support, because that is kind of amazing. So at least for that, there's that silver lining of there's a lot of shit. But the shit at the top is pretty high tier. It's just also way older, and probably not even older. The mod support for it is probably downright peak. If there's a mod for custom servers, if that's not part of the game originally, that you could just run yourself for private games, that actually would be fully amazing. In fact, that ad right there would make the game something you could realistically and unironically buy for a very long time. It's just constant stream of money. You just need a copy of it. I kind of like that idea. I might go do that. I'm not going to buy this game, but the old ones, I might. I didn't know they were available on Steam because they're so old. So I'm going to do that because I need something to take away from this. Either way, I'll see you guys in the next one, which hopefully won't be depressing, and it's probably going to be Suicide Squad because you got to polish that turd somehow. And by polish, I mean with your tongue, because there's really no other way to make that hurt as much as this one. Yeah. I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios.